So let's not look at the actual figures that were released. Hello, it's NFP Friday. It's the second day of June. So we're expecting the NFP figures in about 5 minutes. So before the figures will be released, let's quickly look at what the data from Forest Factory is actually pointing to what we are going to expect. The NFP stands for the non-farm unemployment rate. So in about 4 minutes, the figures are going to be released. Last month, the number of jobs that were created in the United States was 253,000. The forecast for today's release is 193,000. The forecast is that there are 193,000 jobs that were created in the United States for the month. So when the figures will be released in about 3 minutes, if the figures are less than the forecast, if it's less than the forecast, less than the 193,000 that we are seeing in the forecast, then we expect that to have a kind of a negative impact on the US dollar. So we expect the dollar to sell off. But if the figures are above or the exact 193,000, so if the figures are less, that will affect the US dollar. But if the figures are above or equivalent to the forecast, then we expect that to make the US dollar to appreciate. So let's see. This is currently what the dollar is doing. Since Wednesday, the dollar has actually been selling off. Heavily. Currently, it is at a monthly or at a daily key level. Normally, the fact that we've had this kind of move or impulsive move on the downside for like for more than 2 days. So we expect that we're actually expecting a kind of a pullback or a retracement. So these are the levels. These are the levels. If the figures are favorable to the dollar, we expect the dollar to go higher, clear up the liquidity we have above these levels. But if the figures are lower, the figures are going to be released in less than a minute. If the figures are lower, then we expect that to clear out this. So those are on this 15 minutes time frame, somehow we can see that the dollar is actually in a kind of a consolidation. So we're expecting a breakout on either side, either to the upside, that's if the dollar gains strength, if the figures are favorable. If it's on the downside, then we expect it to clear that. So in about 20 seconds, so the same, because the dollar has a kind of direct relationship with the okay, so the figures have been released. From the first signs, the figures were actually above the forecast. But we saw the dollar we saw we pushed to the upside, clearing off the upside liquidity we earlier pointed out. And I was initially saying that the Euro USD does just opposite of what the dollar does. So if the dollar goes up, we expect the Euro USD to go down. Same with the GBP USD. So let's figures are still pending. We expect the actual figures to be released in no distant time. The forecast was 193,000 jobs, but the actual figure came out at 339,000, which is way above the forecast. And just like I mentioned for the news release, that when the figures are above the forecast, it actually helps the dollar to gain strength. The dollar gains strength. But if it's lower, then it affects the dollar negatively. So that's why we saw that the way the dollar reacted, lately the figures were released. The dollar attacked the buy side, the liquidity that we identified earlier. The buy side liquidity that actually attacked that and cleared it, because the figures were favorable for the dollar. So based on that, we expect the pairs that are actually paired with the currencies that are paired with the USD, we expect them to also respond. So this is how the USD responded. This will be GU. This is how GU responded. Let's also look at, let's see how good. This was how, this is how good responded to that figure. So that good, so that heavily. Because the news was favorable to the USD. So at some point, it was at some point we noticed on the smaller time frame that when the news was released, it actually went to the upside, but then it sold, made a kind of a retracement to the downside. So the best way to actually learn from these high impact news is to actually be on the sideline and allow the figures to be released, because we don't know. The thing is, we do not have information as to what the figures will be. We'll just look at, we'll just know that, okay, if the actual is more than the forecast, this is what is going to happen. The actual is below the forecast, this is what is going to happen. Then we just have to be on the sideline like this, then watch. Then at some point, the market will actually react. The exact time when the figures will be released. But after some time, there will be some calm, and then we can now go back to what we are actually expecting the market to do. So guys, it's been nice sharing these months energy with you. So if you want to keep commenting, keep liking. If you have not subscribed, please do it to subscribe to the channel. So once again, I want to say thank you. Going to see you in my next video. Bye for now.